Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're stepping into, a really critical area. It's about more than just marksmanship. It's fundamentally about protecting yourself legally and ensuring safety for everyone involved.
It really is.
We're going to be breaking down what might seem like a simple decision, but it has huge implications. Choosing who trains you with firearms. It's easy to assume someone who's good with a gun can teach well, but it's not that simple.
No, not at all. Especially when safety and the legal lines are so important.
Exactly.
So today, using information from ValorTech as our guide, we're diving into the differences between licensed firearms instructors and those who are merely certified.
And this isn't just semantics, is it?
Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
It really represents a fundamental split in, standards, oversight, and ultimately the kind of training you actually get, legally speaking, too.
Okay, let's get straight to it then. What's the core difference? Licensed versus certified. What do people seeking training need to know right off the bat?
Well, the contract is pretty stark. Licensure, as ValorTech points out, usually means a really rigorous vetting process. It's overseen by a recognized state or even a national regulatory body.
Like a government agency.
Exactly. Take Florida's Class K firearms instructor license, for example. To get that, you need to pass demanding exams, you have to commit to ongoing education, and follow really strict standards. And these are enforced by the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services there.
Wow, okay. So that's serious oversight.
It signifies a high level of proven competency and, crucially, a commitment to legal compliance. They've cleared significant hurdles.
So it's much more than just being a good shot yourself. It's about proving you can teach effectively, safely, and legally to a recognized standard and maintain it.
Precisely. Now, certification, that often comes from private training organizations.
Okay.
And while some certifications might be quite good, indicating some instructor training, the quality, the depth, the rigor can vary wildly.
So less standardized.
Potentially, yes. A certificate on its own doesn't necessarily guarantee that the instructor knows all the legal and safety protocols that a state license usually demands. It just hasn't been verified in the same way.
Right. I see. The license implies that formal authority and oversight, whereas a certificate, it could mean many different things depending on who issued it.
Exactly. A potentially less standardized framework.
Okay, that distinction is becoming clearer. Now let's really dig into the legal responsibilities and the liabilities. This seems crucial. How do these differ, and why should this be a top concern for anyone looking for training?
This is where it gets really, really significant. ValorTech highlights this strongly. Licensed instructors, they're typically required to follow a standardized curriculum.
Mandated content.
Often, yes.
Okay.
Think about Florida's Chapter 493 statute. It actually spells out the necessary training components for legal compliance. It covers everything: safety rules, the legal use of force, basic marksmanship, even tactical skills.
So choosing licensed is kind of like ensuring your training is built on a legally recognized foundation.
You could see it that way, yes. It's designed to align with established legal requirements, potentially offering some protection down the line.
Okay, so that's the license side. What about certified instructors? What are the potential gaps or downsides there, curriculum-wise?
Well, they might not be held to those same strict curriculum standards. Their programs could be missing key elements. And a huge area of concern is the legal use of force.
How so?
If that part of the training isn't thorough, isn't based on current law, well, imagine a real-world self-defense situation. It happens fast, making the wrong decision based on incomplete legal understanding. The consequences could be devastating.
That's a really sobering thought, that the training itself could inadvertently lead to legal trouble. What about accountability? Who's watching over these instructors?
For licensed instructors, it's the regulatory body that issued the license, the state agency usually. They have the power to investigate complaints, enforce discipline, even pull the license if standards aren't met or there's misconduct.
So there's a formal mechanism for recourse.
Yes, a significant layer of protection and assurance for the student. It pushes for professionalism and ethical conduct.
And for certified instructors, is there a similar structure?
Generally, no, not in the same way. Without that state or national licensing body oversight, students might have very limited options if they have a complaint or if they feel the training was subpar or unprofessional.
That lack of formal oversight, it definitely sounds like it could leave students vulnerable.
It can, yes.
That difference in accountability really highlights the potential risks. Okay, let's talk insurance and liability. I imagine there's a difference here too.
You'd be right. Licensed instructors are very often required as part of their license to carry liability insurance,
Which protects.
both the instructor and the student. It offers crucial financial protection if there's an accident during training or maybe a claim of negligence later on. Think of it as an essential safety net.
Okay. Required insurance for licensed. What about certified instructors?
They might not face the same requirements. Some might have insurance, some might have less coverage, some might have none at all.
And that means
It means if something goes wrong, both the instructor and the student could be exposed to significant legal costs and financial hardship. Especially today, in such a litigious environment, it's a massive factor to consider.
absolutely. The legal knowledge itself, though, we touched on it, but it seems paramount. You said licensed instructors get extensive legal training.
Yes, typically they receive in-depth training on firearm laws, sure, but also specifically on the legal principles of self-defense in their jurisdiction.
Use of force laws, castle doctrine, stand your ground, that sort of thing.
Exactly. They need a thorough grasp of the legal consequences of using a firearm so they can teach students those critical boundaries. It's not just helpful, it's fundamental if you own or carry a firearm for self-defense.
And the potential issue with certified instructors on this front.
The gap can be pretty significant. They might not have gone through the same level of rigorous legal training. This could mean, a less complete understanding of critical concepts, justified force, specific state laws, liability issues.
And that lack of deep legal understanding from the instructor could lead to
Potentially dire legal outcomes for a student who acts based on maybe incomplete or even inaccurate legal advice learned in training.
Let's make this concrete. Can you walk through a hypothetical? What kind of legal trouble could a student face if their certified instructor didn't adequately cover the legal use of force?
Okay, imagine this. A student faces a genuine threat, but because their training on proportional force was lacking, they use what the law later determines to be excessive force.
Even if they felt threatened.
Even if the initial threat was real, using excessive force can lead to serious criminal charges. We're talking assault, maybe even manslaughter.
Yeah.
Then comes the huge cost of a legal offense, the possibility of jail time, and, a lifelong criminal record.
A devastating outcome potentially stemming from inadequate training. And flip that, what about the instructor? What liability could an unlicensed instructor face if their student gets into a shooting and the training gets scrutinized?
Oh, the instructor could absolutely face major consequences. If their training is found to be inadequate or legally flawed after an incident involving their student, they could be hit with civil lawsuits for negligence.
Big financial risks.
Huge financial penalties, yes. Plus damage to their reputation, which could be career-ending. And in some really serious cases, potentially even criminal charges if their faulty instruction contributed to an illegal act by the student.
Wow. The stakes are incredibly high on both sides for the student and the instructor. Okay, let's circle back and really emphasize the core benefits of choosing licensed, specifically for safety and legal protection.
Right. So choosing a licensed instructor generally means you're getting training that meets higher standards, aligned with both safety best practices and, importantly, legal requirements. The curriculum is often designed to prepare you for real situations, teaching you to respond effectively and legally.
And that professional accountability we discussed is key.
It really is. Selecting a licensed instructor means you're choosing someone held to strict professional and ethical codes, someone answerable to a regulatory body. That offers a much greater level of peace of mind about their qualifications and trustworthiness.
And finally, that comprehensive legal education component.
Absolutely essential. Licensed instructors equip you with vital knowledge about firearm laws and self-defense principles. That knowledge is critical for acting within the law and avoiding potentially disastrous legal problems down the road.
So when you frame it around safety, liability, and legal standing, the choice seems pretty clear.
It does become much clearer, doesn't it? Choosing a licensed firearms instructor isn't just, a small detail. It's a fundamental decision impacting your safety, your legal future, and your overall peace of mind. The thorough training, the oversight, the legal depth, it really outweighs any perceived benefit of going with an alternative that lacks that formal validation.
That's a critical takeaway for anyone even thinking about firearms training. Thank you for breaking that down so clearly.
It's vital information. People need to understand the real-world implications of these choices before they commit to training.
Which really brings us to the final thought for you, our listener. Consider this. Are you truly protected, truly secure if the training you receive doesn't meet the highest legal and professional standards available? Think about the long-term consequences. We really encourage you to prioritize instruction that's not just technically sound, but legally and ethically sound as well.